the friend who knew everything about me. I met Daniel when we were young, at a time when life felt simple and the future felt far away. We were not just friends, we were brothers in everything but blood. We studied together, failed exams together, laughed at stupid jokes, and dreamed about becoming someone important one day. When I had nothing, Daniel was there. When he had nothing, I was there. That's what I believed, at least. Daniel knew my fears. He knew my weaknesses. He knew the parts of me I never showed to anyone else. That's why I never questioned him. Years later, life became harder. Responsibilities grew heavier, and dreams became more expensive. We were no longer kids talking about success, we were adults chasing it. I had an idea. A business idea I had been working on quietly for months. I studied late at night, saved money, and planned every small detail. It wasn't just an idea, it was my way out of a life I felt trapped in. Daniel was the first person I told. We sat in a small cafe, the kind where no one cares how long you stay as long as you keep ordering cheap coffee. I spoke carefully, choosing my words, explaining my plan step by step. He listened closely. Too closely. He asked questions, smart questions. He nodded. He smiled. "This is it," he said. "This is your moment." I felt proud, relieved, supported. He offered to help. Not with money, just advice, connections, encouragement. I accepted without hesitation. Why wouldn't I? He was my best friend. Weeks passed. I noticed small things at first. Daniel became distant. He stopped replying quickly. Our conversations felt shorter, colder. I told myself I was overthinking. Life gets busy. People change. That's normal. Then one night, everything changed. I was scrolling through social media when I saw a post that made my heart stop. Daniel was standing in an office I didn't recognize, shaking hands with people I had never met. Behind him was a logo. It was my idea. Not exactly, but close enough that there was no mistake. The same concept. The same target audience. Even the same words I had used when explaining it to him. My hands started shaking. At first, I tried to stay calm. I told myself there must be an explanation. Maybe it was a coincidence. Maybe I was wrong. I messaged him. "Hey, I just saw your post. Can we talk?" No reply. I waited. An hour. Then a day. Nothing. Finally, I called him. He answered on the third ring. "Oh, hey," he said casually, like nothing had happened. I asked him directly. No anger, just confusion. He was silent for a moment. Then he sighed. "I didn't think you'd find out so soon." That sentence hit harder than any insult. He explained it like it was nothing personal. He said I was too slow. He said he had the right connections. He said, "This is how the world works." I reminded him that it was my idea. He laughed softly. "Idea means nothing without execution," he said. "You should know that." In that moment, I realized something painful. Daniel wasn't sorry. He wasn't ashamed. He felt smart. What hurt most wasn't the business. It was the memories. The nights we talked about trust. The promises we made to never betray each other. The times he told me, "If you succeed, we succeed." I ended the call quietly. There was nothing left to say. The weeks that followed were some of the hardest of my life. I questioned myself constantly. Was I stupid to trust him? Was I naive to believe loyalty still mattered? I watched from a distance as his project grew. People praised him, investors supported him, everyone called him self-made. No one knew the truth, and maybe no one cared. For a long time, I carried anger inside me. Not the loud kind, the heavy kind. The kind that sits in your chest and makes everything feel bitter. But slowly, something changed. I stopped focusing on what he took from me and started focusing on what he couldn't take. He couldn't take my values. He couldn't take my ability to rebuild. He couldn't take the lessons his betrayal taught me. I started again, from zero. This time, quietly. This time, alone. I didn't rush. I didn't talk too much. I trusted actions more than words. Months later, my new project started to grow, not fast, but honestly, every small success felt earned, real. One day, I ran into Daniel by chance. He looked tired, older. The confidence in his eyes was gone. We exchanged polite words. Nothing more. As we walked away from each other, I felt something unexpected. Peace. Because I finally understood the truth. A friend who betrays you was never your friend. They were only close enough to see what they could take. And sometimes, losing someone isn't a loss at all. It's protection.